show you the Painterly HDR collection in use, as I know quite a lot of people want to see a video. Please bear with me, I'm unwell, so I am in bed, meaning that you may hear cars or ambulances going past because we hear a lot going past here. I just wanted to show you what I've already done. So I've just cleaned up the backdrop from these bits here. I've added some snow, I've made the hat taller, and I've also done a little bit of frequency separation on the face. I've not done anything else to the face other than frequency separation. That's all I've done. 2 minutes. Okay, so I did forget to add in the video yesterday that I used the Silicate Painterly dress action, and that was just to smooth the hat. I completely forgot that I'd used it, so I'm going to use it now and show you. So we've got that masked on. This is a slightly different image, so I am going to blur the background a little bit. So I'm going to use, in fact, before I blur the background, I'm going to use It's All About the Base. So this is the first action within the collection, and you can see it just gives that really nice soft light. So I am going to use a 40% opacity black brush and mask that off the hair, because as you can see it's lightened the hair a lot, which means it changes the colour. Don't actually mind it, it's just that we are going to make other adjustments and it'll do the exact same thing, so we're just going to tone that down a little bit. You may also hear my children arguing outside my room. Okay, so 30% opacity brush, and I'm just going to mask a bit down there to just bring that little bit of depth back there. Then we have add some dark depth. So if you wanted to bring some more darkness back onto your image without masking off the previous action, you can just mask this on. I'm using 30% opacity there, so you can use whatever you want. So that's what that will do. Let's turn that off and on so you can see. Then we have Oh So Dreamy Skin. So I've already used frequency separation, so this image doesn't actually need the Oh So Dreamy Skin, although in yesterday's edit I did use Oh So Dreamy Skin and then did a tiny bit of frequency separation after it. So I would mask this on at 100% opacity, and I did use this first yesterday before I did any frequency separation. It limits the amount of frequency separation you need as well, because it is just a stunning action. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because I do want it's quite soft, this image, quite like those soft tones for a painterly feel. Right, I'm going to blur the background on this one, so I'm just going to use the softly blur patterned backdrop action, which isn't included in the collection. Excuse me, I'm just using a different image than I did yesterday, and I want to blur the background somewhat. So just let that play, and you do need select subject to use this action, so please check your version of Photoshop if you're going to purchase it. So I'm going to mask that blur off the hat, and then I'm going to make my brush smaller, and I'm just going to mask it off the rope. And then a little bit off the dress. So just really quickly. Okay, so I've now got Painterly HDR Skin. So I'm going to use about, let's do 30% opacity brush, and I'm just going to mask that down. It's a little bit like masking on Dodge and Burn a little bit. Just because it says skin, you don't have to just use it on the skin. You can brighten anywhere with this action. I'm going to turn that off and on. So that's just saving me loads of work with Dodge and Burn. So we've then got just the H, now for the HD and the full HDR. So you can probably guess that one's quite low, one's medium and one's high. So it's just about picking one. You don't have to use all three. Have a play around with them and feel which one's best for your image. You definitely don't have to use all three. So I'm going to go straight for the full HDR. This one just adds a little bit more warmth and light into the image. And I'm just painting it on this backdrop to help it look a little bit more real. And I've gone over the hat so that stands out a little bit. You can absolutely go for your subject. I would just suggest dropping between 10 and 20%. I'm going to turn that off and on so you can definitely see the difference on the subject. There's just a little mark there I'm going to get rid of. Oh, it was on my laptop. Okay, so then we have the Painterly HDR, which is my absolute favourite action in this whole collection. I just love those really soft light tones that it gives once it plays. So I'm going to use a 40% opacity brush and I'm going to mask that off the face until I'm happy. And I'm also going to start masking some off the hair as well. There goes an ambulance. You can mask a little bit off the skin as well. Okay, always zoom out so you can get an overview. And you can use your opacity slider, so if you don't want it as strong, you can turn it down. If you want it high, you can turn it higher. You can play around with this as much as you like. Okay, I'm now going to use Silky Painterly Details. And I'm just going to mask this on the hair. So this is perfect for anywhere really. So like furniture or trees, grass, whatever it may be. Clothing, tool, whatever you want to mask it on. I like to mask it on the hair. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of blush. I'm just going to do that in colour balance. So I'm going to add quite a bit into red, and then shadows I'm just going to add 8. Invert and switch to my white brush at 30% opacity, and I'm just going to mask a little bit on the cheeks and a little bit on the nose as well because of the image. Okay, oh, and a little bit on the lips, it's lacking. There we go. Okay, so then we can still go darker. So if you still wanted to bring your image a little bit darker, then you can absolutely do that. Use your black brush and you can either mask off wherever the light is hitting or spotlight it. I'm just going to spotlight it because it's quicker. And then if you wanted to mask off anywhere else but lower opacity, just drop your opacity on your brush and then mask on, well, off wherever you like. Then we have Gorgeous and Glowy. I'm going to save that one for now. We've got colour, colour, colour. I'll click it, but obviously there's not really any colour in here, so it's not a perfect example for this image, but you can see it just brings that colour out in the image without making it too harsh. Then in fact, I'll leave it on for the next action, so it might help the next action a little bit. Okay, then we've got Beautiful Beige Tones, which is just my absolute favourite. I absolutely love this action. So I'm going to switch to 40% opacity on my brush, and I'm just going to mask that off the skin. So I'm going to turn that off and on. I'm going to zoom in and make my brush smaller, and I'm just going to mask off the colour of the eyes and the lips. Okay. Excuse me. So then we've got Gorgeous and Glowy. I'm really sorry. So Gorgeous and Glowy, I'm going to click that. So it's up to you whether you want to keep it over the whole image. You can play with the opacity slider, so however strong you want that. It is set around 43, I think. Or you can invert it and then switch to your white brush and just mask on wherever you'd want to add some glow. Then we have, let's have a look, so silky finish. I'm going to click that, so it just gives a silky finish all over the image. I'm going to zoom in so you can see and turn it off and on. You can see that's just silky finish. It is exactly what it says. And you can just play with the opacity as well. Then we've got create some focus, so click that and there's little pop-ups that tell you what to do throughout as well. So that's left like a soft matte over the image, like a darker matte, and then I'm just going to click that there so that focus comes right back there. Let's turn that off and on so you can see. So you can see all that focus is going to her. You can mask a little bit off the heart. In my laserness, the heart's gone a bit mucky, but that's fine. Then we have dodge and burn, which is just the dodge and burn tools. Ignore the bottom two, I just downloaded them from the website earlier. So burn, you would use your burn tool. Let's just do a little bit of burning. So I obviously did some burning within the edit. So I'm just going to go around the eyes to help make them stand out. So wherever you would normally burn, excuse me, I'm so sorry, then just do your dodge and burn as normal. And the good thing about these HDR adjustments is you can really go in with the dodge and burn and just make, like I could go into all these little lines in the tool and just make it really stand out. That would look amazing if I had time right now, but I haven't. And then we've got the dodge, so it's the exact same. Use your dodge tool exactly how you would normally use it. So I'll just add a little bit of light there. I'm not doing the full dodge and burn, I'm just showing you. So brighten those eyes a bit. Okay, so let's flatten. And sorry, I just wanted to show you, so this skin here, if I clicked also Dreamy Skin now, we could blend those tones a little bit more. So you don't have to use all the actions in the right order, like in the order that they're in. You can go back and forth and use however you would want to use them. Okay, so I'm just going to, whoops, what's happened there? I'm going to delete that and I'm going to flatten. Sometimes when there's a lot of layers and Photoshop's trying to do a lot, an action like that would just need to be flattened. Not all the time, 9 times out of 10 it'll work without flattening, but just if that happens, just flatten. Take a snapshot first so you save everything you've done. I'm glad that happened actually so you could see it. So look at that, so blended those skin tones. Remove that off the nose. Let's turn the opacity down a little bit. Okay, so we'll go to history and take a snapshot, and then this is before and after. So this is the original. This is with the adjustments before, I can't get my words out, before we use the Painterly HDR Collection, and then this is after. So before and after. I hope this helps. I really hope you enjoy the collection. I cannot wait to see your edits with it. I'm absolutely in love with it. and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Take care, everyone. Bye.